Okay, so welcome everyone. This little tutorial is to help you find your transitions from down dog into your lunge pose. If this is challenging for you, please know that it's really quite common. And what happens is that most of us have a tendency to move our legs from our hips rather than our core. And this is part of the reason that we end up with rusty hips as we age. So a big part of the practice of yoga is to help you to reconnect to the midline of your body, to reconnect to your core, and to be able to move from that center place. You know, when you watch dancers or gymnasts move, they have this beautiful grace to their movements, and it's because they're moving from that central column, moving from their core. I'll show you what I mean first, and then I'll take you through a little bit of a drill or a little bit of an exercise that you can do at home to help you build this transition. So what happens as we step from down dog into a low lunge position? There's this tendency for us to lift the leg but then open the hip a little to try and get more height in the pose. What this does is it creates a disconnect from your core. So from down dog, as you lift your heel up towards the sky, you want to ensure that you're lifting your leg from the inner thigh so that the little baby toe side of your foot points down towards the earth. You won't get as much height, but that's perfectly fine. And with your hamstrings a little bit tight, it's a good idea to soften that left knee. What I often see people doing then is trying to move this leg forward from the hip. So what will happen is you'll come forward and you'll get to about here and you'll get stuck. The movement needs to come from the core. So I'll show you and I'll break it down into tiny little bits so that you can start to feel and learn these alignments. From here, on an exhale breath, we want to come up really nice and high onto the ball of that left foot, starting to pull the energy up into the pelvis. We're going to bend the right knee, hug the knee in towards us. Now notice that I'm not dropping my heel, I'm squeezing my heel in towards my butt so that my hamstrings are active. I round my spine, shifting my weight forward so that my shoulders are over the wrists. And then right at the top of that, I look down, I come up onto those right fingertips to give myself more space, and I step my right foot to the top of the mat, just inside my right thumb. Then I can sweetly sink my back knee down and rise up to a low lunge. So that's what the transition looks like from down dog. Now, in saying that, I can make it look pretty easy because I have that connection to my core and I have that flexibility in my spine. Remember that the practice of yoga is a process in that each little opening that you'll create in your body will inform the next little part of your practice. And that's why we call it a practice, because we practice, practice, practice. So I'm going to show you a little technique that you can do at home to help you build that transition. You'll need some blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use some thick books. But you want to get a little bit of height underneath you. I'll show you what this looks like. So bring your blocks or your books to the top of the mat and spread your hands wide. So my thumbs are on the inside of the blocks and my little pinky fingers wrap around the outer edge of the block. I come to hands and knees, I tuck my toes. Now before I come up to down dog, I want to draw my pubic bone towards my sternum, just enough so that I feel the front of my body integrate and the back of my waist open up. I take a breath to prepare, making my body a little bit more spacious, a little bit more buoyant. Then on the exhale, I lift my knees, I press my hands down and forward, and I stretch to down dog. So this is a way of activating your legs from your core and creating the flexibility in your spine to help you with this transition. So I press down into my left foot. On the inhale, I take my right heel up towards the sky. As I exhale, I lift the left heel, hug my right knee in, round through my spine. So I'm pressing down through my hands, pulling the front of my body into the back of my body.
Then inhale, open, expand, reach back through your heel. Exhale, curling into a tight little ball. Inhale, open. Exhale, curl in. Now look down in between your hands and step your right foot to the inside of your right thumb. The back knee comes down and we inhale up into a low lunge. If you're comfortable with that variation, I'll show you one that's just that little bit more progressive. So this is just a little bit more challenging. Inhale, right heel to the sky, lift the left heel, hug your right knee in. Now look down and bring your right foot to hover just inside your right hand. Not to touch, just to hover. So I'm pulling from my toes into my core. Then inhale, stretch back. Exhale, curl in and hover, hover, hover. I'm pressing down like crazy, pulling the front of my body into the back of my body. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, curl in and hover for 3, 2, 1. Step that foot down. Back knee comes down. The inhale carries you up into a low lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Lovely. So I hope that's given you some little tips and little techniques for you to work with at home. If there's anything else that you'd like for us to help you with in your practice, send us a message. We'd love to know. Namaste.